Yeah, we're here in New Orleans. Warriors just got done with practice. Obviously a bit tense, the mood today. Warriors are usually laid back and you never have to worry too much, but they're primed for Game 4. Draymond Green was having none of the questions about Rajon Rondo, all of that nonsense. It just seems like everyone's really excited to sort of redeem themselves for tomorrow, but it's going to be a tough game, no doubt.
Yeah, and the thing about Rajon Rondo, it's not like Draymond Green was speaking out because he's upset with Rondo.
No,
he was
opposite.
kind of speaking out of, why is everyone making a big deal about Rajon Rondo's tactics and is he crossing the line and potentially injuring him or Steph Curry? And he was saying, no, there's no such thing of crossing a line. You're trying to win a basketball game. And obviously, Draymond Green, for better and for worse, is kind of known as that player. He's that fiery, intensity guy. Guys who don't like him or fans of other teams, they see him as someone who does these tactics. But as far as Draymond, Rondo are concerned, not a big deal, but it is a big deal to Steve Kerr. He's actually talked to the league about looking into some of those plays in Game 3 and how to follow up.
Interesting look into Draymond Green's psyche. There is no such thing as crossing the line was one hell of a quote, and it makes a lot of sense when you actually think about Draymond Green in his career. There's no crossing the line. He'll do anything to win, and the Warriors need him to. He was pretty engaged. I think of all the guys in Game 3, he was arguably the most engaged of the Warriors starters, but they need a lot of other guys to come along with him on that ride. Steve Kerr mentioning in his media scrum today, you just saw a disengaged team. They didn't bring force, the necessary force. That's one of Steve's favorite buzzwords, and he got to use it a bunch today. Ultimately, what was your vibe? What were you picking up? You can't. They're not going to give away tactics or anything. What was the vibe you were picking up from the guys today?
Well, I think it goes back to Draymond Green, not just about Rajon Rondo, but to what you were saying. Other guys need to contribute more. Draymond Green agrees with you, Dieter.
I just know, they at the end of the day, they missed shots yesterday. I still don't think KD or Steph was aggressive enough, and as I said to both of them, I need them to be aggressive. They are guys. That's who we going to get buckets. We need them to be aggressive at all times, and they'll be that way tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game.
After the game, Game 3, he was saying, hey, it's not a big deal. We have the 3 best scorers in the world, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. And ever since Steph Curry's come back, Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson really haven't shot the ball well. Since Steph Curry came back, he had that really good return at home Game 2, but in Game 3, Steve Kerr's even said, Steph Curry's even said he's been tired, a little fatigued, but he's challenging him to fight through that. So it's kind of obvious where the Warriors are. Their success basically lies on how well their star players go. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, funny. It doesn't really work out for any other team. One big thing that we did get from Draymond today, who was lovely as always in his media scrum, was he's willing to go as long as Steve Kerr needs him to go at the center position. And that looms large just because in Game 3, they did not have an answer for Anthony Davis. He got anything he wanted. Davis should have had 40 points in Game 3. He missed a couple of shots right at the rim, and it was the only thing that really kept the Warriors in the game other than Klay Thompson shooting. With Kevon Looney not playing all that well in Game 3, maybe the Pelicans have figured something out there. David West isn't just going to get major minutes. It might be Draymond for 35 minutes at center, and he's literally telling us, "Oh, I can go as much as Steve Kerr needs me tomorrow," while he's getting iced up on the shoulder and both knees.
Yep.
In terms of the death lineup, and this has been or death lineup, Hamptons 5, whatever you want to call it, hasn't been all that good this year. Hasn't gotten a lot of run this year. But it seems like the guys are still very confident that when that thing turns on, there's no lineup in the NBA that can match it.
Right, and the reason why it hasn't been as effective as it has in other seasons, to your point, it hasn't been used a lot. But the reason why it hasn't been used a lot, 2 reasons. One, there's been a lot of overlapping injuries to some of their all-star players. So technically, even if Steve Kerr wanted to use that lineup, he can't use the lineup.
Right.
And number 2, a lot of times they've been trying to preserve minutes for Andre Iguodala and maybe some of his other star players with the idea of use this when it counts.
Absolutely.
And Alvin Gentry might be anticipating, he's been calling it regardless if JaVale McGee is playing. He says at some point Steve Kerr is going to go with this lineup. And even if Steve Kerr likes to pull surprises, he knows at the end of the day, ultimately he'll go with this lineup at some point because this is when the games count. These are the most talented players. These are the most experienced players. And even if they don't have that experience much as they had playing together the last few years, they have enough experience in its totality that it'll be fine.
Yeah, this is when it counts. I mean, this is the game. You think about the pivotal nature of a Game 4 here. The Pelicans fans really brought it on Friday night. It was a pretty awesome atmosphere altogether. You can see that it kind of sparked New Orleans play, and this is a team that just plays so fast. The death lineup is going to be huge, and if that comes together, if it gels and it does that at the right time, this team's off to the races. If not, we have a 2-2 series probably going back to Oakland, and what looked to be locked up a couple of days ago got a lot more interesting. But we'll just have to find out tomorrow afternoon. Mark Medina, Dieter Kurtenbach. We'll talk to you then.
Y'all create these narratives of somebody crossing the line. There is no crossing the line to win. You're going to do whatever you got to do to win. So I don't know what crossing the line means. So no, I don't think he crossed the line. I think he's trying to win a basketball game.